Should be live. Are we live? Is it happening? Sorry, we're a few minutes late. I had some technical difficulties, but we should be here. Are we good, David?
I see Model 3. No, I still see the start screen.
Are we good? Oh, yep. We're getting yeses in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that means it's official now.
Time to
the live
turn
stream
on
has started.
Light up the supercharger.
Light it up. Did it light up? Oh, there it goes.
We are
Okay.
ready.
It has officially started. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having an excellent start to your March. It's crazy. I don't know where the year's gone. Absolutely zero idea. But we do have a lot of news. A lot of stuff has happened this week.
It's been a very busy week for Tesla.
It's been a wild week. So we have a lot of stuff to kind of cover and some exciting stuff, but just a lot of stuff in general. First up, let me go ahead and pull this real quick. Yeah, so we're going to kind of do what we did last time, where we're going to go over some of the big news things that we found and that we think are big. And then we're going to open it up, and then we're going to chat with you guys, answer questions and everything. So if you do have any questions, try to save them until the end so we don't miss them.
Yeah, because we're probably not checking chat while we're going to be talking at the beginning, so we'll try to get to you later.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start with this. Model Ys are officially being shipped. It is happening. So here we can see a couple images.
And
they're definitely rolling out.
Yeah, people have been reporting seeing Model Ys on carriers all across the country, even in Canada, Eastern Canada. So they are definitely spreading them out this time.
Yeah, which is good to see because deliveries previously have been different, where they've kind of like started in California and then rolled out east. But it seems like they're staging them everywhere, and they're gonna just like release them all at once.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's probably coming soon. We don't know if it's the 15th.
You're all zoomed out.
So we've heard some people saying the 15th of March. That's a Sunday. We can't get cars delivered on Colorado, and there's a bunch of other states where you can't get cars on a Sunday. So we don't know. Maybe the 14th for some people or 16th. We don't know yet. And
yeah, as soon as we can though. So keep an eye out too on everything, especially on my socials, because as soon as I can get it, I'm gonna take delivery of it ASAP, and then we'll probably do like a live stream afterwards, and I'll literally just walk through everything with you guys, answer all your questions, show you everything you want to see, because there's been a lot of questions on it. So that's kind of the goal with that.
So and kind of to follow up on that, this is for everybody else we're seeing these cars being shipped around the country, but we're seeing that our delivery has moved forward a little. We still don't have an exact date, but we have seen, everybody, or a lot of people saw it open up on the website where you could put in your additional information, like your destination and your financing information.
So like here's like what ours looks like right now. So it's still an RN number. We do not have like our VIN yet, but we have completed all the insurance, all registration, literally everything. We even have loan done, all that.
So yeah, it says they're going to be assigning a car to us, and we should have that information hopefully in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and I think as soon as we have that information, we'll do probably another video just to keep you guys as up to date as possible, because there's a lot going on with these Ys.
And again, we do plan on trading in one of the Model 3s towards this Model Y.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the garage space for everybody. And we don't really need multiple Model 3s right now.
Yeah.
So all-wheel drive Model 3 that we picked up in September?
Yeah, into September was when we got the all-wheel drive.
So that one's going to be traded in. We've already got our trade-in set up through Tesla. Literally, all we're waiting for right now is to be given a VIN and an actual delivery date, which as soon as they know, we know.
We are ready. I mean, if they called us today, we would have been down there today.
They can call me at midnight.
Anytime.
I'll be there.
We're ready.
You have my number, Tesla. Let's do this. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. And the big thing that I think take away from this is even we were kind of questioning whether or not white interior was going to be delayed, but we have everything opening up and have even done the loan and all that, and it is white interior. So I don't think white interior is actually delayed. Maybe originally they were just pushing all the black interior emails, and now come the white interior emails. So a lot of fun stuff on that.
So that's probably the most exciting thing. Also this week we've seen a couple different firmwares have started coming out. It was kind of slow for a while there, but at least 2 firmwares have been noted recently. One of them is 2020.4.11. That seems to be one for those long range plus Model S and X's, which has bumped up their range to, over 350 miles for Model X. New 2020 Model X, and up to like 390 miles for a Model S.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of excitement for those people who got that increased range there. Also, we've seen a firmware 2020.8.1, which has already gone up to almost 10% of the fleet, at least in the United States. And there's a ton of features in there. Not everybody gets everything, but one of the biggest things in that update seems to be the Track Mode 2.
Yeah. And so Track Mode 2, actually pretty fun. I have a video on that coming this week, but you can actually see here there's been a lot of news with Tesla riding and everything, and that's all, like David said, in 2020.8.1, and it looks pretty awesome. I can't wait to play around with it. Unfortunately, my Performance Model 3 is not here right now. It is still
out of the country. Or I don't even know what country it's in right now, but it's not in the United States.
Yeah, so it's not here, long story short. But luckily, our friend Greg, who has a black Model 3, we're going to try to link up with him and play around with this and show you guys about it. Because I actually really want to check it out. So I'm really excited because this is what they had talked about having from the very get-go, which makes it completely customizable, which is huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing we've heard about in 2020.8.1 so far. But one of the other big improvements is Bluetooth improvements. People have complained, over the past few years that sometimes the car connects to your Bluetooth device a little bit too soon. Like you might be walking by and your car or your call, if you're on the phone, might get transferred to your car, even if you're not in the car, but if somebody else was in the car. So they finally came out with an update so that now it shouldn't try pairing with your device unless you're going and sitting in the driver's seat. So that should help avoid a lot of those odd pairings.
And that'll really help a lot for us because that happens all the time. Like just last week, you were trying to do voice with a call and it was on my phone and it was getting different numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It pulls up the wrong contacts. And also, I've noticed sometimes when Eric leaves for work in the morning, and if I'm still inside, it will actually connect to my phone, just because my phone was closer, and it's just weird. But hopefully that update takes care of that. One of the other things we've seen in the new update is improved voice recognition in poor signal areas. A couple versions ago, towards the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020, when the MCU1 people got it, but they totally redid the voice recognition and added all kinds of new commands. But some people have noticed a problem with that, and one of the big problems is when it looks like Eric brought the dog down. So one of the big problems with that voice recognition is it doesn't necessarily work if you have poor signal. So this is laid in here in Kit, and so anyways, I guess they
Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, so we got some snacks here. Look, Brecken, sit. Okay, one for Layden, one for Kit, and one for Brecken. Okay, so anyways, improved voice recognition should be a little better in poor signal areas, and we've seen that problem sometimes when we're first leaving the garage. If you try to do something and it's switching over from Wi-Fi over to LTE, sometimes we have some problems. So hopefully that'll get better with the improved voice recognition.
Yeah, that'll be really, really nice. And hopefully it just gets a lot better. And maybe they'll even open up some new things that we haven't experienced yet.
So one other feature some people have been reporting on this update is improved regen. A lot of people have said over the past couple of revisions that have come out with the firmware that the regen seems to have gone away. It's not as strong as it used to, but it seems that has come back with this later version, at least for the newer Raven cars.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, Ryan would like you to put on your seatbelt, David.
Oh yes, the typical beginning of the video.
Yeah. So if you could throw that on, because
just for safety first. Yes.
You always drive safely, folks.
At least when we're discussing firmware, I can keep that on.
Yeah, at least while we're discussing firmware.
Okay. But another feature that they've added finally is exFAT support.
Yeah.
So for those of you who use a USB driver for your Sentry or dash cam, you've had to have it formatted a special way, which you can't typically format in Windows unless you have a special utility. But now they have exFAT, so it should be a lot easier for you to format those SD cards.
And the old format was that FAT32, I believe.
I don't remember.
It was a different format that wasn't as easy to do in large capacity like SD cards and stuff like that.
Yes,
so
the newer format, and it can support larger files. So we know the dash cam files are small, but you could basically have a much larger capacity card.
Yeah.
And since that's the standard way to format, at least on a Windows machine, it should be easier. Those with Macs, it should still be easier for them to.
Yeah, I don't think Macs will know a difference.
Yeah.
Or notice it, but definitely for us Windows users.
So one other thing in the latest firmware is, at least in the San Francisco area, they've started adding some third-party charging stations to the navigation. You can search for Tesla superchargers and places you've previously charged out, but now it looks like they're adding third-party ones. And I think this is related to an agreement that Tesla made with EVgo back in December of last year, where they have decided to upgrade about 750 EVgo stations around the country to have Tesla connectors. So you won't even need to use your J1772 adapter to use those. You could basically just plug right in because it will have the Tesla plug right on it. And so right now it looks like that's only showing up in the San Francisco area, but eventually that's probably going to be expanding to the rest of the country, maybe the rest of the world.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later.
And just a few other things that have been seen in the latest firmware update is that it looks like some other countries, I think Canada, maybe some places in Europe, are now seeing those full self-driving visualizations, which came out at the end of last year for Hardware 3 in the United States. And there's some other hardware changes that, just looking in the code, people have noticed there's some new hardware changes coming, like for a new charge port, but we don't know enough about that yet to say what those changes are for.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen some things, but we just don't know what it's going to bring.
And we don't have the update on all of our cars yet, so we can't tell you what. And again, not everybody will get all of those updates. If you have an older car, you'll get fewer updates, but newer ones will get some more of them.
He's going to lay down for us. But yeah, and then I think another big thing too is kind of, we already talked about it a little bit, but the track pack. So I can pull that up. So Tesla now has it in their shop. So let's see here. If we go to shop, and then you go to vehicles and Model 3, I think it's just under wheels and tires.
So this is more. This is can be used in conjunction with the track mode on the Performance Model 3, but this is actually a track package, a hardware package.
Yeah, and so you get special wheels. Yeah, you get the Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, which are excellent tires. They are only 245 wide, which I'm kind of a little bummed about that. I wish they would be a little bit wider. But you also get high performance brake pads and brake fluid replacement. So you get some cool things with this that definitely will help with the track mode V2 and all that. You can get some of this aftermarket stuff too. But it's nice to see Tesla actually offering something, because it's going to be tried and true. And they're not going to sell something that might not work.
Yeah, and it's something Tesla is going to be installing for you. If you order this from Tesla, they will install it for you at the service center. And it's maybe not the best thing you can get out there, but it's better than what it comes with. So it's definitely a good deal.
Totally.
And when you look at the price, $5,500, it's not the cheapest, but it's cheaper than some of the other wheel packages they've had in the previous years, which were like $7,500.
Completely. Well, I mean, I think they still even have like wheels for Model S on here that are like 7,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Or 6,000 for the Arachnids. So Model S, you can still get those 6,000, but those don't include brake pads or fluid replacement and all that jazz. So yeah, Model 3 actually is looking pretty good there. Let's see. This is a big one, because we've been asked this pretty much in every live stream.
And we've been waiting at least 3 years for some news on this.
Brace yourselves. We also did a video on it earlier this week. But MCU 1 owners can now upgrade to MCU, is it 2, 3?
We don't
the
know.
New version,
it's an infotainment upgrade. We don't know if it's exactly the same as the MCU 2, which newer Model S and X have, or what the Model 3 has had all along.
Exactly.
But it's an upgrade, and it must have, it's either the same processor or something very similar or newer, that they'll be able to use the same code base. And so that should allow older cars built before like March 2018, to have almost all the same functionality software-wise as all the newer cars have had for the last couple of years. So this is a great thing. One bad thing is it's not free. This MCU update, infotainment upgrade is going to cost $2,500 if you opt for it. It's not required, but if you do get it, it's going to allow all kinds of things. It's going to allow, the new games, the Tesla Theater, karaoke, the tracks, where you can make music. It's going to have all kinds of other, like the visualizations, which have only been available. I think those will also still require Autopilot 3 hardware, the full
for the
self-driving.
visualizations, yes.
But so for those of you who did buy your car in before March 2018 and have purchased full self-driving, then this will work in conjunction with that to give those improved visualizations, which will show stoplights and traffic cones and trash cans and all kinds of other stop signs and things like that.
And I think I can't remember if you mentioned this, but we also would get the dash cam functionality.
Dash cam and Sentry,
which
yes.
I think is huge. That's a big bonus, honestly. I used it when I got in an accident in my car. And
yes.
It's very nice to have that reassurance.
And we do have our own black view cameras in the Model S, but it would be nice to have much greater coverage like on the sides. And that's something that's missing currently on those MCU1 Autopilot 2 cars, which were built before... I guess that would be before August of 2017. Those cars had a Sentry mode, but it was like a fake Sentry mode that made it look like you had Sentry mode turned on, but they wouldn't actually record any video that you could use. Then starting in August 2017, they came out with Autopilot 2.5 hardware. That had some upgraded cameras, upgraded radar. And those cars, even with MCU1, could record from 3 cameras, like the side cameras and the front camera, and they could record in Sentry and dash cam, but they couldn't record the rear camera, I believe. But starting in March of 2018 was when MCU2 came out, and they've had the Sentry and dashcam all along. So it's good that we're finally allowing that on older cars. And what's even cooler is that they're allowing this update to be done even on cars without autopilot. So you're not going to get autopilot functionality, but it's going to make your computer a lot faster, the navigation faster. For those of you who still have 3G on your older cars, you'll now be upgraded to LTE as part of this because it will include that LTE daughter board in the MCU. And so we're still waiting for more details on this because it sounds like they're going to have to replace the main MCU, but also they're going to, in the S and X, have to replace the instrument cluster, which is behind the steering wheel. Just because currently, on those older cars, that's actually a separate computer from the MCU. And so they run independently. But with the newer MCU2,
it's all one unit.
It's one unit, and that's basically just a second monitor, a second display. Yeah. And so they're going to have to change that as well. Now, one big caveat of giving this upgrade, besides having to pay $2,500, is that you will lose like AM, FM, and XM radio functionality. And for some people, that's a big negative. And so I know that some people said that they don't want to get upgraded yet, and they're going to hold off on that. But we've heard from some people saying that they've replaced the radio tuner in their cars themselves, and it's just a hassle. It can be done. You basically have to replace the analog tuner with a digital tuner, and there's some wiring that needs to be run to the new MCU2. Tesla's not going to be doing this as part of this upgrade. We've heard that it basically is in an inconvenient location, and it's hard to get that radio module updated, removed, and replaced quickly. And so if it's going to take for thousands and thousands of cars and it takes a couple hours per car,
it adds up.
That would just cost Tesla hundreds and hundreds of extra dollars, and that also would push the price up because they're going to have to charge you for the tuner hardware for a new digital tuner. So it looks like Tesla's leaving that out. You're not going to have radio functionality directly on that tuner. Some alternative might be to use like TuneIn, or perhaps even use your cell phone to connect via Bluetooth, and you could listen to radio that way. But we're still wondering, and we're going to try to get some questions answered to see if that radio tuner could be added for an extra charge on top of the $2,500. Yeah. And if it's possible, we're going to do it. If not, we might try doing it ourselves, just because the part can be ordered. It's not a restricted part, so it can be ordered directly from Tesla. And if you have a couple hours to spend, you could remove it and plug it in. I think we could do. I mean, we've taken apart a lot in Model S. I did hear though that somebody's looked at the code and they see that there's a bit in the code that unfortunately it doesn't just detect to see if you have the tuner installed or not. And so if we plug it in, it will start working. They have to go ahead and say that yes, you have the tuner. So it might be something that we could install ourselves, take it to Tesla, and then have them, fix the software for us, and then it would work. But we'll wait and see, because a lot of people have been complaining about that lack of radio with the upgrade, but we're so excited about the upgrade. We're going to get it done on that Autopilot 2 car. Don't know if we're going to get it done on the Autopilot 2.5 car yet, but definitely on the S100D from March of 2017, which is 3 years old already.
Yeah, and so just to clarify a little bit, because I'm seeing some comments. So Autopilot 2.5 cars with MCU 1 do have dash cam.
Yep.
So only those with Autopilot 1, Hardware
2,
1,
Autopilot 2,
or Autopilot 2 with MCU 1 don't have dash cam functionality yet. So
that's cars built from
exactly
before August of 2017.
Right. So just wanted to make that a little bit clearer in case it wasn't. But either way, we're going to be getting that new MCU. We're going to get the full self-driving, which was paid for 3 years ago.
Yes, March 2017.
A long time ago. So we're going to get that installed, and we're going to go ahead and just get the new MCU, because that'll pretty much bring the car up to the same level.
It will
of new cars.
Almost like a 2020 car, except for the suspension and the increased range.
Exactly.
But, those are nice, definitely nice features. But if we were to trade in that 2017 car for a 2020 car, it's going to cost $30,000 to $40,000 to trade in the older one. And the only difference would be the suspension
and the range.
And
the great thing about the current Model S is we have almost zero degradation. It's just like 1 or 3 miles.
It's a little bit more. We just passed 42,000 miles, and I think we've lost about 6 miles over the last 3 years and 42,000 miles. So very little degradation.
Yeah.
And the car is like new. It's great, but the upgrading of that MCU will make it as if it's a brand new car, except for the suspension. And we still have the air suspension. We just don't have the cool new suspension that came out with the Raven.
Which is really nice, I'm not going to lie, but it's not worth
$40,000. But if we can pay $2,500 to get the car almost up to date, we're going to do it.
And so installs on that are starting, I think, actually this month for 2.5 Autopilot hardware cars.
They're kind of working backwards.
Exactly.
And so 2.5 cars will get it first, because for that, all they really need to do is swap out the MCU. It already has the color cameras, full color cameras, and the newer radar.
Right.
Then they're saying later March, maybe early April, they're going to start doing reservations for Autopilot 2 cars. And we haven't heard yet if they're going to actually change out the cameras, because Autopilot 2 cameras don't have the full color like Autopilot 2.5, and they have a slightly different radar, which I believe has a slightly shorter range. So it'll be interesting to see, but I hope that they will be swapping out those cameras as well, because then that will allow, the dash cam and Sentry thing will look exactly the same as it does with Autopilot 2 and 2.5.
My assumption is they're going to swap it all out.
And so also
hopefully that's right.
And so also when they're doing these full self-driving, when they're doing the MCU2 updates, they're prioritizing to give those to people who have already purchased full self-driving. We purchased it 3 years ago, so that kind of puts us at the front of the line when they do get out to the MCU1 Autopilot 2 cars. So right now, again, they're doing Autopilot 2.5 who have purchased the full self-driving. If they want to now buy the MCU2 update, they can get that first. And then later in April and in May, they're going to be moving on to older cars like Autopilot 1 and even cars without Autopilot, and they will be able to upgrade MCU as well.
Yep. Real quick, forgot a super chat. Sorry, I accidentally missed it. Eric the Goat Guy, thank you very much for the $2. Asks, is there any big events to go to that are coming up? I think the big one is going to be the battery investor day.
And that's not going to be a typical event, because that's just like an investor's event. So basically anybody who owns Tesla stock, I think, is allowed to go.
Yeah.
But I believe that's going to be up in Buffalo at the Gigafactory 2.
Yeah. I don't really know of any new products.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe the next gen Roadster event.
Hopefully, we'll be hearing more about that, because we really haven't heard much about that in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
but that could be the next big event later this year, because we know that it doesn't look like they're doing a big launch event for the Y. They're just deploying it nationwide or all across North America at once. But haven't heard of anything. We don't know what the next big product might be.
Yeah,
Unless maybe the Plaid is the Plaid S and X. If they have
Plaid
an
might
X,
be.
That could be an event right there later this year.
I would hope they do some kind of big fun delivery thing for Roadster. That would be really cool.
I'm sure they will for the Roadster, but we just don't have any idea on the timeline for that.
Yeah. An event for Plaid S, again, no real time frame for that. I think it's going to come sometime in 2020, but again, you never really know until it happens. That's the great thing. But yeah, so some other big news is Tesla is rapidly expanding their collision repair. There's actually even a place coming in Colorado and kind of all over, which will be really nice because once they bring it in-house, it should speed up the process.
It says it should be like 4 times faster than getting. We've seen in the Denver area and other places around the country that sometimes these third-party collision shops are full and they're busy. And it even if it wasn't Tesla, I years ago took my Honda to another shop and they said it would be done in 3 days and it took them over 30 days to get it done. So it's not just with Teslas, but now if Tesla's able to do some of these minor dents and dings and bumper replacements, that's going to get done a lot faster in-house, right, in Tesla shops. And we've heard that they're, again, in the Denver area, they're going to have a dedicated collision repair shop just for our network or for our region.
Which will be really nice. And this is a big thing that I think a lot of people gripe with Tesla, and seeing them take this step really goes to show you that they're trying to really solidify customer relations and just make it easier for people that have the terrible experience of getting into an accident and getting their car all mangled up. Because some of these repairs have been known to take a long, long time, and them doing it in-house should really speed that whole process up. So, yeah, hopefully they get one in your state too. And then I think the other thing a lot of people always look forward to is our solar update. So let's kind of go over some stuff.
So basically, we're about a week into March, and we have had a really good March so far.
Yeah.
I think 6 out of the 7 days we have had, we've produced more solar than we've used powering all our cars and all the houses. And so in this first graph that Eric's showing you, you can see on every day except for the second, we had good solar, and the yellow line is or the orangish line is the solar. The blue is what our usage was for the day.
Yeah.
And if you go to the one with the numbers, for the week, we use 400, for the whole month so far, we've used 409 kilowatt hours, but we've generated 569. And lower down, you can see that we've taken 178 from the grid, but we sent 306 back to the grid. So we are, earning credits now, and those credits will roll over. And we're going to be doing these credits, up through September, October. And so we're just going to have a really nice credit with our electric company, and then that will help cover our usage over in November, December, and January.
Yeah, the system's performing so well.
Yeah,
and then
so this graph shows our
blurry.
best production so far this year. We almost hit 100 kilowatt hours. Again, we almost hit it last week too, but so close. So we got 99.5 kilowatt hours. It was almost a perfect day. One small little blip, but you can see that on that day we only used 47 kilowatt hours, sent almost 100 back to the grid. We earned almost 100, but we sent 57.5 back to the grid and only used 10. So a surplus of 47 kilowatt hours that day. So definitely generating a lot of electricity.
To sum that up, we absolutely love our system. It's performing extremely well, and we're coming out ahead, which we couldn't really ask for more. And if something happens, we've had several power outages in the neighborhood. Yep. We have zero idea. We just look outside occasionally and see that all the neighborhood is dark, and we're not.
And for those of you who don't know, we have like a 20.5 kilowatt system. It's a huge system. It's like extra large. Tesla doesn't normally install such a big system, but if you go speak with them, and you might be able to put in the largest system and then expand it later, and that's what we did. So 20.5 kilowatts, and we've got like 63 panels, and they're all the Panasonic panels which were built at the Gigafactory in New York.
Yep. And real quick, Vince is asking, do we get credits for electricity that we send back rather than getting paid?
Yeah.
So we did a lot of calculations on this, and they actually offer it both ways.
Yep.
It's really up to us.
It depends on
and-
where how your utility handles it.
Yep.
But for our utility, they let you choose if you want to get paid or if you want to get credits. And we just opted. We don't want them sending us a check back every month.
But also, if we get paid in cash every month, the rate they give us is like 1/20th.
It wasn't as.
It's very horrible.
There's a couple different things, but yeah, basically.
So we opted to do where
Credits.
we can credit because it's on a 1-to-1 scale.
And yeah, so when we send the most power back in the afternoon, that's when our power is probably like 18 or 20 cents per kilowatt hour, and we earn that for every kilowatt hour that we send. So. And the part peak, I think it's like 13 cents. We get that 13 cents back.
Yeah.
So it's better for us to create those credits, and it rolls over, and there's no limit. So we can roll them over all summer long, and come fall and winter, we will have those in a bank, which will just subtract them out. So basically, we won't really have an electric bill from probably now, from March through probably October.
Yeah, and then hopefully we have the credits to carry us in the other months.
Because we got pretty far before we expanded our system, but now that we've added another 4 kilowatts, I'm hoping we'll be able to go at least through December, maybe January, before we have an electric bill.
Music to my ears. Definitely, solar system is paying off, and we couldn't be more happy with it.
And again, this electricity is covering. We only have Teslas, so we don't have any gasoline vehicles anymore. And we did a video in the past, but we're saving at least $400 a month, maybe more now, just because we're all solar, all electric.
Yeah. I think that actually kind of covers it for the
topics,
major news. Real quick, I've been seeing a lot of questions about why, so we'll kind of cover that again and go over a little bit where we're at with Model Y right now. So quick, let's go over our build because a lot of you are asking about that. Just so you guys can know what we're doing. I'm just going to show you this so I don't have to go in and blur out any of my other stuff. But we are doing a performance Model Y with the performance upgrade package. We'll lose a little bit of range, but we get these awesome 21-inch rims and a couple other fun add-ons. We are going with the white exterior. We are going with the white interior, the 5C option with full self-driving. So that is our build. Now, as far as when we will take delivery or anything, because there's still a lot of people out there asking about white interior. Is it delayed? What is the status of it? And all that info, because originally it looked like emails were only going out to people with black interiors, which actually I think seemed to be the case.
And that was probably just the first batch. The first batch of them off the line, they just built black. And now that those have been shipped out, they've started producing ones with white interiors. And we've heard some others too where they were told that white was coming up next. And when we went and checked ours, we're seeing that we now have the insurance fields and everything.
So this is what our current thing says. So under next steps, I don't really want to click on it. Actually, there's a screenshot. I won't go to the actual page because I don't have time to blur all that out, and there's a lot of personal information on there. But basically, the next steps, I'll pull it up on my other computer so I can go through it exactly with you. Since we already filled out all the main information, like
delivery and financing and
all that.
Driver's licenses.
The next step was just insurance, and we completed that. So now under the current page, which is under all this, I'll go over it with you guys. So it says registration details. We have both of us on that. We are trading in the all-wheel drive Model 3 that we got in September. And we have a trade-in credit from that. We already have loan figured out. So we're just going through Tesla just to make it easy. Look around for rates, though. You might be able to find something cheaper depending on what fits your budget and everything. And we have driver's license information. Basically, everything is ready. We're just waiting on Tesla to give us a VIN and tell us, come and pick it up.
Yeah, it says right now they're drafting our contract and will contact us when it's time for us to make that final payment.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Super excited. Can't wait for Model Y. Model Y is going to be so amazing. We got some super chats. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, by the way.
And so for the Model Y too, for those of you who remember, they had the unveiling like March 14th of last year, which was like Pi Day 3.14. And so we predicted long ago that they would be coming out around 3.14 this year, and it looks like it's really close.
Very close. I think some people got delivery dates of like March 15th.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, March 15th is a Sunday here in Colorado. And in Colorado, car dealerships can't operate because of a stupid state law. I don't fully understand
There's
it.
several states that had that, but yeah, it's been around forever.
It makes no sense to me personally. It's a car. I don't understand why you can't buy one. But whatever, what have you. So we don't know. Are they going to try to go for March 14th? Or maybe March 16th?
I'm still thinking maybe the 14th, but we'll see.
But you have opinions on the 14th.
I don't really want it to be the 14th because I might not be available for delivery. So I'm hoping 16th, you know. But if it comes 14th, it will come.
We just want it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Real quick, Tracy H, thank you for the 99-cent super chat. Appreciate it. Forney Kid, thank you for the $5 super chat. Shout out Tesla Cars and Kyle. They're 49 subs away to monetize, which, in case you're curious, on YouTube, you have to be at 1,000 subscribers to be able to do that. So, thank you very much for those super chats. Really appreciate it. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with Model Y. It's kind of just a waiting game. We're just kind of waiting on that phone call. And I think it's where a lot of people are at. But it's nice to see that we have had our account completely opened up, completely completed, and we have the white interior. So it just goes to show you that white interior won't be delayed.
Yeah, we were starting to get worried because we were seeing a lot of other people were getting notifications. And we got a notification a few days later, but then some of the stuff disappeared, but now it's all back, so we should be good.
It's back and then some.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's see here. I guess if we don't have any other major news, we can go ahead and open this up and talk about some stuff, I think.
I see Got Grapes just mentioned they're going to try it for the 13th so they can stay. They did it within a year. That would be cool. 13th would be...
13th is fine with me. I mean, really, they could call me at 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Anytime.
I will be there. I will leave my job. God, I hope nobody's watching this from my work.
We haven't seen any, but we've been on the lookout, but we haven't seen any Model Ys around town yet. And
no.
When other people have seen them drive through or been at the superchargers, we missed out. We tried getting there.
Missed them by so little.
So Eric was at the Model Y unveiling last year. I missed it. I was at home, so I have not seen one yet. So it'll be cool to finally see one.
Yeah. I think you're really going to like it. I'm really interested to see David's reaction and everything because he kind of, like, you really love Model S because Model S is a great car. Model X, I think you thought was a little bit big. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's nice, but yeah, it's a little big for me for everyday driving and stuff. But I definitely like the S. It's cooler looking. But I think the Y is a nice, like, combination because with that hatch on the back and it being a power hatch, it's going to be a lot better for cargo or for the dogs and stuff like that. You're going to be able to fit a lot more that you can't fit in the Model 3. And I've never owned a sedan with a trunk like that, so the Model Y I think is more up my alley.
And really, the only time you've ever driven Model 3 is when we were on a road trip.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how you think of Model Y. That's a big thing I'm interested in. Let's see. Hopefully they do the 13th. As soon as they can.
Again, I might not be available the 13th, but hey, if you can go get it, that's great.
Oh, we're going to make something work.
The 12th would be better for me. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Anyone at Tesla, if you're watching, 12th is great for us. Or earlier. Earlier works.
Anytime.
Vince asks, do you think Model Y will have any new battery tech? I honestly don't think so. Because they've talked about, like, the wiring potentially changing and stuff like that. But I think everything has happened so fast with Model Y, I honestly don't think...
They tried to keep it simple and just keep it the same as the 3, trying to reuse as many parts as possible.
The 3 is so ironed out. I don't really think they're going to change it. Not this year, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe in a year or two, but they just want to get them on the street. So, Catman asked, do we own any Tesla stock? Yes.
We have some. I mean, we're not like multimillionaires or anything like that. It would be nice, but we've got a few shares.
I would love some more shares.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has taken a dive in the past week, but everything has really. So
yeah, the whole market's kind of been down. Michael is asking, great channel. Do you guys know how many long range Ys have been ordered versus short range? I don't think they've released that.
No, I've seen some like unscientific polls where people have tried to guess that, and I think they were guessing like 20% or so were performance orders. But it's very, you don't know because since it's not a true representation of the entire market, it's just people self-reporting. You don't know how accurate those numbers are. But of
Yeah.
people who reported what they ordered, like 20-something% did order performance. And then I think the largest percentage was on the all-wheel drive long range, just because those are coming out sooner. So more people are ordering those.
I think the all-wheel drive is definitely, like, long range is definitely going to be, like, the biggest order. But, I mean, if 20% of people order performance, that's actually a pretty healthy number.
That's a pretty surprising number. And Tesla,
I didn't think it would be that high.
And again, they're doing it differently than they did with the Model 3, because with Model 3, they started with the rear-wheel drive version, and then they came out with like long-range all-wheel drive. Then they came out with performance out of nowhere. Nobody knew they were coming out with performance at all. And with the Y kind of doing it backwards and bringing the most expensive, highest margin ones out first with Model Y.
Mm-hmm. We have all the kids coming in. Let's see. Gavin asked, if you order now, when do you think you could get a Y delivered?
And that's a good question, because
if you order performance, I definitely think it might be sooner than if you order like an all-wheel drive.
We've seen reports of people placing orders just in the past couple of weeks, and they've already gotten invitations to schedule delivery.
Right.
So it's not like with those reservations for the Model 3, which were made, March of 2016, and people had to wait years before they were invited to configure and take delivery. Yeah. They seem to be trying to push out the higher margin ones first, and they're calling you or emailing you no matter when, whether it was 2 weeks ago or a year ago, they're contacting people.
It's nice to see, though, that they are doing the higher margin ones first. I know for those waiting for like the standard range and stuff, it does kind of suck, but we need to just make sure that Tesla continues their profitability. So the higher margin cars makes me happier to see them being able to do that.
And we haven't heard this time, with the Model 3 too, they said they were going to prioritize for previous Tesla owners.
Right.
We haven't really heard of that. It maybe they're doing that internally. We don't know. But when there's other people who are buying their car 2 weeks ago and they're already getting mail, and I think it's their first Tesla, and I don't think they're prioritizing current Tesla owners anymore.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything, and actually I've seen a few people that literally like just ordered a few weeks ago, never had a Tesla before, and they're getting invited. So I'm not really sure what the rhyme and reason is there. Centricity says, if the Cybertruck comes with a solar tonneau cover option, will we get it? What would be reasonable cost to do both? Should it or will it be available?
I would hope it would be standard, but I don't know. It might be, or maybe it'd be on a performance package or something.
Oh yeah, maybe on the performance one. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be something they sell, because they don't have a lot of individual options you can buy by themselves. So it'll probably be in a package.
I definitely think if it's available though, and it's not unreasonably priced.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to pay like $30,000 for it.
No,
but like if it's reasonably priced, like maybe like, I don't know, what would we pay for that? 4,000?
No, I don't think I'd pay even that much.
Okay.
No, I think it's got to be in a package that's maybe 4,000 or 5,000. Like if it's a performance package, but you're going to get all kinds of extra things.
Other things.
The thing is, I don't think it will ever really pay for itself, because it'd be nice to get a few miles of charge per day. That's only going to amount to pennies, or a quarter, 50 cents, $1 a day. So it would take years, years of perfect sunlight for that to pay for itself.
Definitely.
So I think it's a nice feature to have, and it'll be nice, especially if you're going off the grid, or you're going out camping, or you're out in the remote wilderness for a couple weeks. Then you could park your car there, and if you're out hunting or camping, your car could basically recharge itself up to the full 300 miles or whatever while it's out there. But it's not something, if you're at work and you park in a parking lot, you're only going to get a couple miles, and it's not going to cover your whole commute or anything. So,
but it would be cool if they could use that to just like run the AC or something to keep the cabin cool. Even if it did that at like a net zero, I would be happy with that.
So it might help prevent the vampire drain or anything.
Yeah.
Or if you're parked at the airport or something. But if you're parked in a parking garage, or if there's a lot of trees or shade, it's not going to really help you much. But it's a nice thing, but I don't think it's going to be huge.
No, but if it is available, you bet we're gonna get that. Andrew says another question about when you would take delivery of Model Y, but when did we order? It was like a year ago. Maybe?
I don't know. I know it wasn't like the first month.
It wasn't.
Or whatever, but it was a while back.
It's been a while ago. But now it's only $100 order that's non-refundable. When we ordered, it was $2,500 refundable.
Exactly.
So they've changed things up a little bit.
And I know some people were complaining too because there have been some miscommunication or some errors on some recent orders where people were saying they were charged both the $2,500 and the $100. But from what we've seen, that was there was a very limited number, and those was a mistake. If you paid the $2,500 down, then you won't have to pay that $100 order fee on top of that.
You get one or the other, not both.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly.
Andrew was said he assumes we ordered a long range or performance. So it was a performance.
And technically, we have 2 Model Ys ordered, but we're only going to take delivery of one of those.
Yeah. We'll go into detail on that.
Just like we have 2 Cybertrucks on order, but we're only going to take delivery of one of those probably. So
depends on what comes out first, but PSY Tech said it checked Littleton delivery, didn't find a Y.
No,
Nice.
well, guess what? We drove by there today too.
Yeah.
Didn't see one, but hey, doesn't hurt to try.
No, doesn't hurt at all. Someone said set up a camera at a supercharger and stream it live to maybe catch a Model Y in the wild. They've actually sightings around Colorado have stopped.
Yeah.
So it used to be hot for several weeks, and now it's basically
even around the country. I mean, people were seeing them in Michigan. They were seeing them in Nebraska, Colorado. So people were seeing them all over the place. Unfortunately, we missed them. We tried, but we missed them.
Yep. I'm unsure, Cooper, about XM as a streaming option. I've never actually used XM, so I'm not super familiar with it. I normally just use Spotify on my phone or the car now.
I think there is an app for that, and there's also for other cars they have they used to have a device that you could plug in, third party whatever, but aftermarket. I don't know, but it would be nice if Tesla, since they are removing the tuners, if you are upgrading your MCU, it would be nice if they added a little more functionality, because the station I listen to, that I've listened to for ever since I've lived in Colorado, used to be available on TuneIn, so I could listen to it no matter where I was in the country, or if I'm local, I could use FM radio. But a couple years ago, they moved that station to a different streaming service, so it's now on radio.com, so I can't hear it on TuneIn. And, I could stream it on my phone, then use Bluetooth and hear it that way. But it'd be nice if Tesla would just let us do that directly. And some people have said we could do that on the browser, but I don't know if you can do that on the browser while you're driving, I think, once you start driving. So we need to test that out. But it'd be nice if Tesla added support. They recently added Spotify, and they already have TuneIn and Slacker. But it would be nice if they had radio.com or iHeartRadio or whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely some other options I think they could add. So let's see. Unfortunately, no update on Tesla insurance outside of California right now, MSM. I haven't heard anything on that. But as soon as they do, I'm definitely interested to look at their rates. It'd be kind of fun to look at that. Michael, Unplugged Performance Model 3 is not in the country. That's about as much as I can say.
Yep.
More details on that coming later. Let's see. Somebody said it looks like Model Y Performance white with white is going to take a while. I honestly don't think it will, because we already filled out our loan paperwork and everything.
Yeah.
And that's only good for 30 days.
Something like that before they would have to run the credit.
Right.
check
So
again.
I definitely think I don't think it's delayed at all anymore.
Again,
I think maybe the first batch was black seats.
First batch was black, but we got notification for white, so we're hoping that means it's soon, within the next 10 days or so, but we'll see.
Yep. Let's see. There are a ton of questions. If I accidentally skip your question, please repost it, because there are just a ton here. I'm trying to work through them. Let's see. What do you think would radically reduce prices of Tesla?
Well, they've been coming down greatly already, just in the
have.
past year. It's amazing, because if you look at the 2017 Model S that we bought, the S100D, cost close to $117,000.
$117,500, I think.
When it was fully loaded. Now you get the same thing for about $90,000. So that's still not cheap, but they've dropped the price by 25% just in a couple of years. And the S has come down, the X has come way down in price. The 3 and Y there's definitely not the cheapest cars out there, but they're a really good deal. I think though they've, through the Gigafactory and building their own batteries, that they've been able to reduce the cost of batteries from $300 per kilowatt hour down. They keep reducing that price, and so hopefully that means they're going to be able to come out with an even cheaper car.
Definitely.
Sometime in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be driven down just by technology advancements and all that, but there's a lot that goes into it.
And
too.
the nice thing too is that as more people are buying Teslas, more people are upgrading. So all these Model 3s and Model X's, and they're all coming out on the used market. And you can now get a really nice Model S for like $30,000 and cheaper than a brand new Model 3. It's not going to be the same car, but it's still going to be an electric car.
And now that you can upgrade the MCU,
it'll bring it up
all that
the technology, so it's like a 2020 almost. And so in a few years, I think we're going to see a lot of Model 3s. Even with the Model Y coming out, there's going to be a lot of Model 3s hitting the market.
I know a lot of people trading in their Model 3, and even my Model 3 all-wheel drive will be available from Tesla, and it only has 4,000 miles.
A little over 4,000.
Over 4,000 miles.
It'll be interesting to see, too, because I know when Tesla was leasing the Model 3, they were saying that you couldn't have the option of buying at the end. So what are they going to do with these tens of thousands of Model 3s that are going to be hitting? Are they going to...
Originally, it was supposed to be for the Tesla fleet. Their Tesla rideshare service.
Yeah, and that's not ready yet. That's going to be
that we know of. Maybe they're waiting for all these 3s.
But it'd be interesting to see what happens. There might be a ton of these, slightly used Model 3s hitting the market in the next year or so.
Totally. Cooper asks, do you guys think Tesla will add Apple CarPlay or Android Auto?
No, it would be nice because that's so easy that you can just plug in or use wireless to connect to those. But look, Tesla seems to have a little closed ecosystem, and they're just doing it on themselves. So I don't really see it happening anytime soon.
They need to add some kind of open ecosystem where it's separate from the car and everything, but other app makers can start making apps.
If it could run in a separate window on top of whatever.
Exactly. We need some other kind of apps. Yeah. And if they would open that up, everyone would do everything basically for Tesla.
There would probably be thousands of apps people are eager to create.
And there's even apps I'll pay for.
Yep.
There's some that I won't, but there's certainly some that I will. And if it's anything like any of these Apple App Store or the Google Play Store or anything like that, they get a big chunk of that money. So this could be like almost free money for Tesla.
It would be nice if Tesla had that option for like a window that was on top of or separate. And we have seen some third-party hardware that allows you to add like other cameras, like 360 cameras for parking, and then have that display show up right there on your MCU screen. So, and it just plays right on top of everything else, doesn't affect the functionality of your Tesla firmware at all. So it'd be nice if they had a window like that other software could run in. Because if you can do it with other hardware, you should be able to do it with other software.
Yeah. Let's see where we're at.
So somebody asked the question we get a lot is how many Teslas do we have? So,
this is a good one.
So currently we have 2 Model S's and 2 Model 3s.
Yeah.
But one of those Model 3s will be traded in for the Model Y, hopefully later this month.
Yeah.
And there's been talk maybe one of the S's might be traded in for a Y as well. But that's more out there. But
probably not happening anytime soon.
Over the past 4 years, though, we've had a total of 10 Teslas.
And we've had how many Model S's? 4
Model S's,
4 S's,
5 3s, and an X.
Yeah, and soon to be a Y. So we have tried them all.
Yep.
And I absolutely love the X. I get this question a lot, is why we got rid of the X. We got rid of the X because we bought it, and then shortly, like 2 weeks after, the Raven X's came out. And similar thing happened with my first S. Shortly after I bought it, Hardware 2 came out.
Autopilot.
So I learned
updates.
from that situation, the quicker I sold it, the less money I would lose.
Yeah. And
so we did well on selling that X.
Yep.
And we were looking at buying
it's a really nice vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first.
Loved it.
It was one of the very first cars that had Autopilot 3 hardware.
Right.
And we had a video on that where we
Took it apart.
opened up the dash and showed we have one of the first Autopilot 3 cars. Yeah. Unfortunately, as Eric said, the Raven came out a couple weeks later. So when we ordered that, it was actually ordered as a long-range Model X. But when we took delivery of it, the Mulroney sticker said long range, but the car and the badge on the car said 100D. So there was a transition period at the beginning of first quarter of last year where they were kind of getting rid of the rest of the 100Ds and then renaming them to long range. And so we had a unicorn or something very, very unique.
Yeah.
But it was a great car, and we loved it. And
I would still have it today. We were just talking about it not too long ago. I would just have it today if it was a Raven, probably.
Yep.
Because that was the big reason we sold it, is we just didn't want to, longer we sat on it, the more of a hit it would take. And with everything else coming, we decided not to get a new one since Y was coming so early.
Yep.
There's really no reason to have an X and a Y and all this other stuff. So
Not in our household.
No.
I mean, I could see if you have a household where you have a bunch of kids, or you definitely need seating for like 6 or 7 people all the time.
Yeah.
Then other times you just need a smaller car. Then an X and a Y might still work for you. But for us, the Y will be good enough for us, I think.
Yep. And for those of you asking, they are Rhodesian Ridgebacks. This right here is actually Layden.
Layden.
She loves
Come here,
her
Layden.
back scratches right on the ridge.
Come here, Layden. Yeah,
She's just gonna stand there until I stop. Let's see what else. So Fusion is asking, would the full self-driving capability Teslas take a while? That's a good question. It's been a while, but I honestly think Tesla in 2020 is going to be focusing a lot on software.
They're definitely coming. For those of you who are new to Tesla.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Let
not.
me turn the David cam back on.
It's not.
It
It's
accidentally
not
shut
out
off.
yet. But they've come a long way since like 2016 when they came out with Autopilot 2. As we said, we had one of the first Autopilot 2 cars as well. And all through 2017, they were adding all kinds of features. And 2017, 2018 got even better. 2019, with Navigate on Autopilot, it's getting there. But they still need to have something for city driving. But Navigate on Autopilot is great for when I do road trips across the country.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because it can pretty much drive itself. Once you get on the highway, it changes lanes. It can change lanes whenever it decides to. You can override it if you need to. It can take exits. It can take interchanges. It does a great job on the highway.
Yeah. Hopefully David cam comes back up. Sorry, it accidentally turned off. Still trying to figure that out. Somebody, Paul, actually had said, trying to be the first semi in Colorado. That would be awesome. If you get it, hit me up.
Oh, definitely. We'd like to see that.
Do the Founders Editions get priority over others? I honestly think they do, but that's how they've done previous cars. Yeah. So if they keep with the previous iterations, like S and X and everything, yes. But it's Tesla. So we never really know.
We did hear that I think they're supposed to have some limited deliveries of the semi. Is it later this year?
I think it was by Q2.
So hopefully, I don't know if that will be the Founders, if that's just going to be for some initial customers.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the Founders will come once they start selling to, the whole market. The Founders will come first.
Yeah. Let's see. Pritam, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, asked, do you know if the efficiency would be the same for both 19 and 20-inch all-wheel drive rims on Model Y? So normally the bigger you get, the less efficient it is. But it also depends on weight. There's a lot of aspects that go into it. But I would generally think going from a 19 to 20, you're going to lose a little bit of efficiency.
Yeah, and we're going to get those 21-inch Uber turbines
David cam is working.
Yeah. We're going to get the 21-inch Uber turbines on our performance, but we still have some of the 19-inch Geminis.
Yep.
And I'm sure we've got a set of 20-inch wheels out there as well, TSS Flow. So we're going to test it out with some different wheels and see what it looks like and how it rides, how efficient it is. So
there'll be many, many, many videos and tests coming with Y.
Yeah.
As soon as they will deliver it. That's the big thing we're waiting for. Let's see. Any word on Rivian's vehicles? Great question, Vince. No.
I haven't heard much.
I would love to hear more, but it's also like same thing with like GM and all them. I'm very curious where everyone's getting their batteries from. Because we've been seeing a lot of other car manufacturers with current EVs having to shut down their lines and close their factory for a week or so because they can't get the batteries. They can produce everything but the batteries.
Yeah,
and that's where Tesla did it right, and that's where everyone else is failing.
Yeah, and like we saw in the news earlier this week, like GM announced they're going to have like a 200 kilowatt hour battery on the new electric Hummer, and that's great, but where are they going to get those batteries? How many are they going to be able to make? And also, they didn't point out that I believe with a 200 kilowatt hour, they're still only going to get about as much range as a Tesla can get with a 100 kilowatt hour battery. So they need to work a little bit on efficiency.
Tesla has maximized efficiency so well. Yeah. Nobody else has. They're all focusing on getting a bigger battery instead of looking at all the other aspects of the car to maximize that efficiency in other places.
So I saw somebody asked about the Tesla sofas. We'll just a quick set. Eric made these. These are actually the third row seats from some Model X's. that were totaled, I
Maybe
believe.
this video's better.
And basically this one is the non-perforated, and that one's perforated. So slight differences, but he just built a base, and they're came right out of two different Model X's.
Still need to plug in the heated seat part and getting that
Get the
USB outlet working.
The cup holders work fine.
Cup holders work.
Seat belts work great, but yeah, the USB is not operational at this time.
Andrew is asking, how has your experience been with Tesla service centers? So we've been there a few times. I actually, in the all-wheel drive Model 3 that I'm trading in, I was rear-ended. It was very minor. I did a video on it. But I had them replace like part of the rear bumper. It took, I think, a week or two to get in, and then I was in and out in a day. We've had, what else? I mean, we don't really go to the...
Luckily, we get mobile service. We haven't had a lot of problems,
so.
but they have come out with mobile service for a lot of things. Like in one of the Model S's, it had a bad door handle, and so they came out, swapped out the door handle. My car, my older Model S90D had a recall on the airbags. They came to my office, they did it in the parking lot, swapped out that, and did some other minor trim work. Yeah. But they've either come to us or when we've gone to them, they've been great. We don't have any problems with our service center. We have now 3 different service centers, or at least we had Evans in Littleton and now Superior, and they've all been great. Sometimes they don't have the parts in stock, so they got to order the parts. But once they do get them in, they've done a great job.
Yeah, we've been really happy with them, and a lot of them now I don't even think know who we are. They used to, but they're kind of moved around a little bit. But I definitely don't think it has anything to do with like who we are.
Yeah, and we know that not everybody gets perfect service, and that's going to happen no matter what company you work with. But we haven't had any problems.
We've been fortunate. We've been really happy with them. Let's see. Andrew is also asking, what's the tax price cut for this year and next year buying a Y? So federal's gone.
0.
So big fat goose egg on federal, unfortunately. But certain states have certain things. I think New Jersey just announced $5,000.
Yeah, and they also don't have to pay sales tax there, so that's a great savings.
So if you're in Jersey, there's a perk. But there's other states that do offer different incentives. So definitely check with like your local state and everything. Yeah.
So in Colorado,
but unfortunately, federal's 0.
Yeah, in Colorado it did go down. It used to be 6,000, and then it went down to 5,000. Now it's down to 4,000. But it's still a great savings. Unfortunately, in Colorado we do have some high sales taxes and higher registration fees, so it kind of cancels it out. Yeah. But we definitely appreciate getting that state tax credit.
It definitely helps. Let's see. Catman says, will Tesla make an electric motorbike? Not that we know of. They're definitely coming out with an ATV. I did actually get a fun delivery this week. We got an e-bike. It's a e-mountain bike from Thok. There'll be a bunch of videos. Well, maybe not a bunch. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll
be a bunch on social media, but we played around with it. We literally just got it yesterday. Played around with it today, and I actually love the thing. I can't wait to take it on some trails and have some fun.
It was pretty impressive. We kind of live in a hilly area, and I took it around the block, and it was effortless riding that e-bike.
Yeah, and there's different modes too, so you don't always have to have it actually like, it does pedal assist. It's not like an actual throttle, but there's different modes, so you don't always have to have it helping you, which is nice. So that way, if you really do want to like feel it on a bike ride, you can. Yeah, but the boost really helps.
Yeah. So and we'll talk more about that in future videos. Yeah. I don't think the Tesla's ever going to get into bikes, but maybe they'll make batteries. You never know. Yeah. If necessary, they could turn out a bunch of these batteries. The battery's a lot smaller. It's like half a kilowatt hour, so it's like 1/200th the size of the battery in my car. Yeah. But it's also a lot lighter, so that battery should be able to go a lot longer. Plus, you're still pedaling. It's what did you call pedal assist or something?
Yeah, it's a pedal assist instead of like actual throttle.
So it's not going to do everything for you, but it makes it really effortless. Yeah, especially on those hills.
We're getting a lot of questions here of if we think full self-driving is worth it. That's a great question, and for that we're going to take you to Tesla's website so we can talk about exactly what you get for it. Yeah. It's changed a lot, though.
Over the years. I liked it better a couple years ago when they had it split up between enhanced autopilot and full self-driving, because then it was the first package, you got certain features, and then if you wanted the full self-driving, it was like a $3,000 upgrade. Now they've made it so you get a basic autopilot. It's like baked into the price of the car, and if you want to add that full self-driving, it's a big chunk at like $7,000.
Yeah, so just regular autopilot includes ability to steer, accelerate, and brake automatically.
And that's great.
For vehicles and pedestrians.
Yep.
Love that. But if you want anything like navigate on autopilot, so automatic on to off ramp, if you want auto lane change, if you want auto park for parallel or perpendicular, or any kind of summon, you have to pay the $7,000 for full self-driving.
So those features were all in the old enhanced autopilot package when we bought like the S90D back in 2016 and the S100D and the S75D in 2017. And to me, those were better because those are nicer. You can use those all the time, like navigate on autopilot. Use it every day on my commute to work, and we use it all day today when we were driving around. It's great on the highway. But yeah, the full self-driving features we're still waiting for are, more for recognizing the stoplights and traffic signals, and that's gonna.
And it even says on here, automatic driving on city streets.
City streets, yeah. And so that's gonna be cool, but it's not really out yet. So the nice thing is, if you don't want to spend this money now, you can add it later.
Yeah, and in some cases, it's actually better if you add it afterwards, because like here in Colorado, I have bought this on all my cars, and I probably shouldn't have. I probably could have saved a lot of money if I didn't. However, if you buy this with the car, it gets baked into your registration fees, and you pay on that every year for, 5 or 6 years?
For the first 5 years of registration, it's based upon the price of the car, and that really adds up.
Exactly. So if I would have bought this afterwards, it wouldn't be baked into the registration price. I actually could have saved some money. So I messed that up. Yikes. JD Smith is saying, I ordered a Model 3 on January 20th, still waiting, been advised it is currently being shipped to Nashville. Is this the waiting time about what others have experienced? So yes, when you order at like the beginning of a quarter, they are currently manufacturing cars for overseas so that they can put them on a boat and get them delivered that quarter. So in the first month or so of every quarter, they're just building overseas cars. So your car honestly probably wasn't even made until like mid-February. So I would say that's perfectly normal, but I do know how anxious you can get. I have been there. Let's see what else we have here. Lots and lots of questions. Hopefully we're not skipping anybody. Like I said, though, if we do, just make sure you repost them.
I see somebody said that their parents were skeptical about getting a Tesla, but they did a test drive and they made a reservation. So congratulations.
Oh, nice.
Glad
Congratulations. Who is that?
Welcome to the Tesla family. It scrolled past the chat, jumped, and so I don't see who it was, but yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Curious to know how many of you guys actually have a Tesla, and how can I add a poll? No, I don't think I can.
I'll have to research that.
I'm just curious to know, like, how many have a Tesla versus how many of you are interested in Tesla. I'm kind of curious. Maybe we'll throw out a Twitter poll or something. Somebody said they just ordered a Model Y today. Congratulations, Sean. Elon Kerman, I'm going to assume you're not the real Elon, but sneaky, says, how about using side cameras for parking? I definitely think they could open up their camera usage for different use cases.
I think Elon even mentioned, he tweeted a month or two back that will be coming, so hopefully that's a feature we'll see sometime in the future.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was an MCU2 only feature, so not going to see it on older cars, especially, well, it's going to have to be Autopilot 2 or newer, but hopefully that's something with the MCU2 upgrade, if you don't have it already, that you would get.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the full 360 view.
It's not going to be that.
Because of where the cameras are placed, but it could still help. Anything could help with more visibility on the sides.
Totally. Parth says, what is the Model 3 battery size? So I believe originally, was it 75 for long range and 50 for standard?
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I don't
that.
think they actually publish that anymore, and it's a little bit harder to find. So I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on
There's
that.
ways we could, hook up.
We'll
check
try
the
to
battery
do some
directly.
digging.
But yeah,
I think we should actually, because we haven't looked at the new one.
Yeah, and that's one thing we've seen, especially with the new Long Range Plus S and X that have come out lately. Tesla has changed the labels on their batteries so that they no longer list like 100 kilowatt hours there. They're just indicating, the serial number and the part number. And so we don't know that if that means that they're going to bump it up. Is it going to be 110, 120? We don't know.
I think it's an easy way for them to make changes and people don't know.
As easily, yeah.
Yeah, because they could get efficiencies in other areas that bump up range. So
it's not just the battery.
It's not just the battery. And I think a lot of people are getting caught up on battery sizes. So I think they're just trying to make it a little easier. And I think that's why they got rid of 100D, 75D, and just went to a long range, standard range nomenclature.
I see, just jumping, I see Brad King asked if there was any news on the white interior. And we talked about that earlier. Basically, we ordered a Model Y with white interior, and we were able to go ahead and complete the entire process to...
just like the seats you are sitting in.
Yes. But these are from the Model X. Yes. But basically, we completed that. So we're expecting delivery of a white interior Model Y, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Hopefully next week, but, maybe later this month.
Fingers crossed for next week.
So the first batch did seem to be black, but we have seen others who have mentioned white, and their orders are moving forward as well.
Yep. And ours is completely finished. We have our financing. We have everything set. We are just waiting on Tesla to call us.
Yeah.
We do have someone saying they've been waiting since September for their Tesla to deliver to Iceland, and it's coming hopefully next week.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, I think last week we saw they were starting. Yeah.
Can we get claps and chat for Iceland getting Teslas?
We'll
That's
have to.
Awesome.
One of these days we're going to be in Iceland, so we'll have to stop by.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
So I saw somebody else. There's people have been talking the last couple of weeks about Tesla's removed like the Cybertruck and the Roadster from the website. It's just not displayed on the main menu at the top.
So if you go,
it's still there. It's just not something that's available for sale. Like they're not delivering them. So you'll see the Model Y isn't even in that main first picture.
They actually even changed this because it used to be you'd click on these 3 bars, then you have to click more to see them. But now you click on the 3 bars and they're right there.
So they definitely still have the Cybertruck and the Roadster there. Don't worry, they haven't disappeared. It's just not, again, the main picture, I would expect the main picture on their website to change here in the next week or so, because once they start delivering the Y, you need to have the Y on there.
Oh my God, C's gonna kill me, be the death of me. Okay, so our dogs know treat and they know go for a walk. Thank you for your super chat, by the way, C. I guess I'm gonna step outside because I have to scream because they're upstairs. But I guarantee you they're gonna come running, and I'm gonna get in trouble.
They already got. It's almost time for the dinner, so we're gonna have maybe one more snack. But they're probably gonna be hungry.
Oh, they're laying right here.
Oh, they're right outside the.
They're laying right outside.
Who's hungry?
Who's hungry?
Snacks.
Snacks.
Do you don't have any though?
You wanna go for a walk?
Yeah, I think they're tired. We did a walk right before.
We did just do a walk. We tried to tire them out a little bit.
They were here earlier, though. If you watch the video, towards the beginning of the video, the dogs all came down and got snacks.
Yeah. Brad is asking date on the Y. Oh, yeah, you already answered that one. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a few. I skipped over a bunch, but if you get some other. Here's Kit's looking for snacks.
Kit goes, where is it?
He likes food. He really likes food. Come here, Kit.
I know, I'm sorry. We're going to go get you food soon. He likes to sit and just whine until you feed him. It's pretty funny.
He'll be hungry here. Yeah, he's hungry.
Rishi is asking, will they redesign the Tesla Model X? So I actually think S and X need some kind of refresh to boost sales. They really do.
Yeah.
I definitely, maybe a little exterior, but they need to do something on that interior.
And that's something we might see when they come out with the Plaid Model.
I definitely think it's going to be on the
later
Plaid,
this year.
Sure.
Maybe we'll see some new things for the X as well.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. Really can't. Getting some questions about the Performance Model 3. So the Performance Model 3 was never in China. It was in Japan. But it is currently still not in the country. And I am not allowed to say where it is right now. Yeah. There'll be some videos on that soon. I promise. I hate to leave you guys hanging like this, but yes.
And
there'll be some info soon.
And definitely, and even when it was still in Japan, we have some more videos coming on that. So definitely,
definitely subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button if you haven't, because we love you guys.
It's been a while. That car has been away from us for about 7 months now. So it'd be nice to get it back.
I'm getting very anxious to drive a performance car. Don't get me wrong. All-wheel drive Model 3 is amazing. The speed is incredible. but I'm used to the performance. I used to take it to the track and Bandamere, and I want to get back on a track so bad. I'm literally having like track withdrawals. I need that in my life.
So
again.
hopefully we'll get the 3 back eventually. Here.
Yeah. Somebody is saying, I just bought a Tesla around a year ago, and we bought enhanced autopilot, and Tesla told us we would get full autopilot when it comes out, but now they're saying no.
Yeah.
Well, enhanced and full autopilot, yeah, they've always been separate, but now they went from enhanced and full self-driving to autopilot and full self-driving. They got rid of enhanced altogether. Maybe see if you have it in writing.
I would check your sticker or your
build
purchase,
sheet.
your MVPA, and see if it specifies, did you just buy enhanced or did you also buy full self-driving? Because those are two separate package. It used to be about $5,000 for enhanced and then another like $3,000 for full self-driving. If you only bought enhanced, then you don't get the full self-driving. You can upgrade. You can always add it at a later date, though.
Yeah. Huge thanks to Sean Graham for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. I've never heard an estimate of backlog of Model Y. Do you know? I'm trying to get some idea of when to expect mine. So they haven't, I don't think, released any numbers, especially not lately. But we've been seeing, I'm not sure what their rollout is. This is what confused me a little bit, is some people that have ordered a little bit more recently are getting emails to like finish up all their paperwork, and some people that ordered a year ago haven't gotten that yet. So we're not quite a year ago. It hasn't been a year yet. So we're not quite sure exactly what they're using to go through everything.
But I'm sure they have.
And it also depends on what you ordered, too.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have, like, I don't know, tens of hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Because, as Elon has said, this car is going to sell more than the S, the X, the 3 combined.
Yeah.
And so the Y is going to be the biggest car, highest volume that they've ever sold. So they've got to have a huge backlog on that.
They must have a plan. Unfortunately, though, we just don't know.
We don't know yet.
But yeah, some people have said they got the email, but they're not ready for it until like October or November or December. And for those of you that aren't ready, and if Tesla calls you, just make sure you tell them that so they can try to assign that vehicle to somebody else that is ready.
Yeah, I've seen
so you're not holding on to that spot.
Other people are waiting for like rear-wheel drive, or they're waiting for the chrome instead of the de-chromed version, or they're waiting for 7 seats. So if the current model is not exactly what you want, just wait. And once they start offering those, then you can go ahead and contact them and say, yeah, go ahead and process my order. Because that's how, when I first took delivery of my Model S back in 2016, Eric and I both ordered on the same day. He ended up getting Autopilot 1, and I was like, you know what, I don't need my car yet. So I held off, and I got Autopilot 2 on mine. And so if the current car is not what you want, just wait until what you want is available.
Totally. Atbia is saying, how do you guys feel about mood lighting in any of the models? I think it's great. What we have done actually is, it's a channel sponsor, so here comes the plug, is Abstract Ocean actually has all kinds of really cool lights. It's probably their #1 seller, I would think. They've sold a ton of them, and they have different colors you can put in there, and we've done that in several of ours. And that's really kind of nice because you can change it. Like the footwells, you can be like blue or red. They also have some really cool puddle lights. A lot of really cool things. So like you can already do stuff like that. Now if it was built in, I don't know. It depends how they build it in. I've seen some car manufacturers build in mood lighting along like stitching on like dashboards and stuff like that. But the Model 3 and Model Y and all that is very simplistic. So I don't know how, I just don't know where they would put stuff like that, mood lighting. But if you're looking for like changing up your footwells or getting brighter lights for like your trunk and stuff like that, definitely check out Abstract Ocean. They're linked below, and you get 15% off your first purchase. Thing is,
I remember before you had a Tesla, you had like a Ford Fusion.
The Ford Fusion,
hybrid,
yeah.
And it had that nice, you could change the color of the lights and stuff. That was a nice little feature. I mean, it's not something you change every day, but it's nice to have that little, customizability.
Yeah, that was kind of nice. Let's see. Someone's asking, do you think Tesla stock will go back up after the epidemic? I think the whole market will, because the whole market is.
I think so. It's
down.
It's
been
been
on
a wild
time.
Been on a wild ride lately. It's gone up and down, and then up again, and then down again.
Yeah.
But with so many plans in the future, with the battery business, the solar business, and energy, and semis, Tesla, I think, is only going to go up in the future.
Completely agree. Somebody said, I like the Model Y, and I have a Model X, and I love it. I love Model X. I'm very curious to actually like compare it directly side by side, interior and everything to Model X.
So
'Cause I think it's going to have a lot in common.
Definitely going to have a lot of videos on there, and it sounds like the volume, the cargo volume, is going to be really similar to the S, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you can fit a ton in a Model S. So
You can fit a lot, especially if you have like the 5-seater or 7 even. When you can fold those down, you can fit so much. Tesla News asks, when will the Roadster come to production? Fingers crossed for this year.
hopefully this year. We're definitely looking forward to that. We've been waiting a while, but haven't gotten any news on the Roadster
It's
in
been
quite
almost
some time.
2 years.
Over 2
Oh,
years.
it's been over 2
It
years
was
since that event.
2017. It's like November 2017 at the Semi event when they brought out the Roadster.
And that event was the wildest event I think we've ever been to.
Yeah, and Eric got to ride in the Roadster. They gave test
Yep.
rides for people who had reserved them, and I didn't. I haven't been in one yet. Just like with the Y, I haven't been in one of those either. But one of these days. Hopefully-
Reaction video, David on a track with me driving.
No, I don't know about that.
You've actually never been on a track with me driving the Performance Model 3.
That's true.
I think we need to do that video. Okay, let's see here. A family member is dead set. This is from Gavin, by the way. A family member is dead set on getting another gas guzzling Suburban. I've been trying to convince them to get a Model Y with no luck. What are some selling points? One, electricity is cheaper than gasoline.
Lot
You
cheaper.
wake up every morning with a full tank.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to a gas station in 4-something years, and I absolutely love it. The tech in Tesla, the full self-driving capabilities, even just the autopilot as it stands now is amazing.
And also the app access is great because you can
Love it.
preheat the car from your phone.
You can see where it is at any given point. You can speed limit stuff if you have a relative driving.
Yeah, there's
You
so
can do
much.
so many good things.
Yeah, and with the Suburban or really any ICE vehicle, the Suburban's going to take a ton of gas. It's going to be really
Oh my God,
expensive
yeah.
to fill up. It's going to smell. It's like, I don't know, for those of you who still drive gas cars, you might not notice the smell, but we can smell cars. They just the fumes,
Yeah.
the diesel fumes. It's you don't smell that anymore anywhere around our house or our garage because we only have electrics, and we can definitely tell when you're behind a gas car.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Now, the
But
thing
the
is
Model Y has a lot of nice things over Model 3 too.
Yep.
So like the hatch is electric, which is great. The lift gate, it's gonna have a bigger volume, so it's gonna be very Model X like.
Yeah. And now the Suburban's going to be a lot bigger than a Y. If they're a better comparison might be between an X and a Suburban just for seating purposes and volume.
Yeah, Model Y I think would be a great option, or Model X if someone can
If they need something
splurge
bigger.
that.
Yeah, definitely the price is
The price
higher
is
on the
definitely
X.
different, but if you need something that can hold like 6 people, that's a little bit bigger. Definitely going to be Model X there. Yeah, I would never consider another gas car. And I would really love some of those supercars, but with Tesla Roadster coming out and everything, there's absolutely zero reason to consider one.
But yeah, we've had all electric cars since about 2016, 2017, and we've been able to drive anywhere in the country that we've wanted to go.
Yeah,
whether
we've
it's
gone all over.
California, Nevada, Wyoming, South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, and even you can go pretty much anywhere. It's still a little bit difficult getting there across North Dakota, but they are building superchargers there. Hopefully those will be open in the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, where is that question that I just saw? What do you think about Tesla building a compact car? They've actually released some sketches and everything of a potential Chinese version. Maybe they'd consider bringing that to the US, but it's like even smaller than a Model 3.
And I know that Elon years ago, back when the 3 was coming out, he had mentioned I think he'd call it Model 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
So there is discussion about that, and then it would be cheaper, and that would probably sell really well in Europe and in Asia.
Especially Europe, their streets are so tiny.
So I could see that coming eventually. I just don't know how much cheaper it will be, but I think they could definitely come out with a smaller car.
Yeah. Morton is asking about deliveries for the U.S. or will they be shipped overseas for the MCUs?
Oh, for the MCU. Sorry, I thought you were asking about the car.
Will we ever be able to watch Sentry clips on the center screen of the car? At least I'm assuming that's for the MCU because we were talking about Sentry.
Sorry, Morton. I tried replying to you earlier, but I didn't see you were asking about the MCU, so I was talking about the Y. But yeah, definitely they're going to be doing the U.S. first. We saw in the next couple of months they're just focusing on the U.S. Hopefully they'll be doing Europe later this year.
Yeah. Definitely. They're probably just gonna roll it out here and then send it on over. Make sure they iron everything out and everything while it's all over here. Let's see. Vince is asking what Tesla does with their ICE cars that are used for trade-ins. I think a lot of them are actually given to CarMax.
Well, not given, but
sold
they have
to
like
CarMax.
They have like
for that.
wholesalers,
But
and they just basically or they have auto auctions. We know that they.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
you know.
So they definitely get rid of them. They definitely aren't keeping them around. But a lot of people do trade in their gasoline power cars for electric, and it's great to see so many people wanting to make that switch. Actually, it's really nice. Somebody asked if they can have my Gmail. Unfortunately, not on that. But if you go to my YouTube page and you go to About, I believe it's on like the top right. If you click that, you can get my email address. It's just admin@teslainventory.com. If you have any questions, feel free to email them there. Or tweet or anything like that is totally fine too. Let's see. Do you think there will be any delays on full self-driving 3.0 CPU, especially given what's going on in China right now that they're delivering them?
I don't know.
Like
it depends.
2.5.
I don't know because luckily Tesla China was able to start back up. I don't know where they're getting their CPUs from.
Yeah.
If it's South Korea or China or what, but hopefully, factories are able to reopen and continue production. Hopefully they had a few stockpiled, but if problems, last
What if our
longer,
Y gets 2.5?
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
But
either,
they are upgrading. Anybody who buys full self
Exactly.
you're going to get upgraded to 3. And also you don't need to worry about because right now 3 doesn't really offer anything other than those enhanced visualizations. Eventually it's going to have a lot more functionality, but you're not missing out on a lot right now. So if it takes a couple months to get upgraded, don't worry too much about it.
I do love seeing trash cans though. I wish they would differentiate between trash and recycling though.
Oh yeah, that probably takes a little extra AI on that.
I don't think that's really worth it, but it would just be kind of interesting to see. Sean, thank you again for the $5 super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Solar is the only method to make power without moving magnets. Solar cells are just LEDs and getting cheaper. Batteries are all we need. Buy Tesla.
We love our solar. Like we were saying earlier, we have 20.5 kilowatts of solar panels, not a solar roof, but it's amazing. We love it. I check our production every day and
several times a day.
When we get snow or rain and clouds, I'm a little bit bummed, but I love like a perfect day like we had earlier this week where we got almost 100 kilowatt hours, and we were only in early March. We're almost hitting that value almost 3 weeks earlier than when we got it last year, just because we added that extra 4 kilowatts of solar panels at the end of last year.
Yeah. It's doing really, really well. It's actually doing better than I would have thought.
And again with our power walls, it's great because we can save up the power and then power our house. We power our house about 20 something hours a day. We do pull from the grid overnight to charge some of the cars, just because that's when the cheapest power is available. And also we're not home during the day when solar is at its peak. So today we did charge the car via some solar just because we were home. But typically we're at work, and so we can't take advantage of using the solar directly. But by putting it into our power walls, we then power our cars and the entire house all night long. So we're almost, we try to be 100% self-powered, but our utility company limits how much solar we're allowed to install. So currently we're at our maximum, which is about 20.5 kilowatts.
Yep. Elon Kerman is asking 400 plus mile battery range after battery day? Question mark?
I think so, because we're almost there. They're only a few miles short.
They're 30 miles maybe? They're
390 on the long range plus Model S. So they're almost there.
Is it 390 now?
390.
Holy crap.
And
I thought it was still at 370.
And it's like 353 or 354 for the X. So
390. There's gotta be.
I think they're pretty close.
Something.
I think later this year we'll definitely see a 400 mile plus Model S. And maybe
I want to see a 400 mile Model X.
They're almost getting there, yeah.
That's what I would love to see. Because Model X is a massive car. If they can do that 400 miles.
The nice thing though is that for those of you who might be stretching your budget to try to afford these long range versions, you might not need to, depending on where you live and how close all the superchargers are. We do have an S100D and an S75D. The 75D we've taken on a few road trips like to Nebraska and Kansas, and it works great. It does take a little bit more time at the superchargers. The 100D is nice because it has that longer range, and we could afford to maybe skip a supercharger or two. But they continue to expand the supercharger network greatly, and just in the past couple of weeks in Colorado, we've found out about so many new superchargers. We've found at least one supercharger under construction. They've opened up new ones, and it's just great. And this is happening all across the country. They're constantly expanding.
Yeah. Few quick questions. We'll kind of run through. Model 3 dude. Any garage projects for the Y? Yes. We have some very fun stuff planned for the Y. We're not going to make the Y like the Performance Model 3. It is not going to become a track car, but there's some fun things planned for that.
Yeah, I think the Y will definitely be like the car we use the most.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be both versatile. It's got room for people or dogs or cargo. And we don't know about the trailer hitch, but if it has one, we will be using that to bring stuff home, from Home Depot and stuff. And yeah, so definitely going to be using the Y a lot. Yep. But for the garage itself, we are looking at upgrading the garage a little bit here.
Yeah.
We've just got to get it cleaned out and
there's some things coming up.
Arrange a few things, yeah.
HP's future of Tesla used EV markets and prices. Prices are hard to gauge because that's probably going to depend on how the market is, how stock is, and stuff like that. But I really think like used EVs, once they hit maybe like 20,000 miles, you're probably going to find really good deals.
And not just Teslas, but there's all kinds of other,
all of them.
I mean, like the Nissan Leaf or like the Chevy Spark and like Mitsubishi IMEV or whatever it's pronounced. They're like almost giving some of those away. They're so cheap after a couple of years. So those are definitely good like cars if you don't need the longer range. If it's like just around town, those can be great second cars. It's probably not going to want one of those for road trips because they don't have like a supercharging network, and those cars don't really have the range. I think the Leaf might have now a 200-mile range, but there's still lots of inexpensive used EVs out there.
Yep. Let's see, Rishi. What if Tesla acquired Toyota? Just an interesting thought. I don't see anything Toyota would give to Tesla.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I just don't see
a bunch of factories and stuff like that. But
what Tesla could get out of it.
Yeah, maybe just the factories, the manpower, but I don't know. Maybe. Tesla's,
Yeah. Let's see. S Veneer is asking why we have so many cars. So technically, we have 4 cars in the garage normally. We each have one. There's also Scott.
So there's three drivers in the household.
Yeah, so 3 drivers. And then we have the Performance Model 3 race car. It can be a daily driver, but probably not the best in snow. So that's why that is not driven around in snow.
Exactly. And we're not going to have the performance car forever. Eventually, we're going to get a Roadster.
Eventually, it's going to be replaced with a Roadster.
But again, we're not going to drive the Roadster as a daily driver. Just
maybe during the summer.
Maybe. But by getting that Y though, I think that's just gonna
it's gonna complete us.
Yeah,
it's gonna complete the garage.
Yeah, the garage.
See, have you noticed Cybertruck has been removed from the Tesla's website?
Oh, we talked about that long ago.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, we already covered that. Cool.
It's on there. It's on the menu on the right. Just click on the menu.
Menu on the right. Sorry, catching up with chat. Greetings from Holland. Wow. What time is it in Holland? Wow.
Probably like.
Well, thank you for joining.
Really early in the morning.
Very early. Sean is asking, will we robo-taxi any of our cars? Probably not. I have a lot of trust issues, and I don't know I would trust other people in my car without me being in it.
No, we have used our cars, like 2 of them for Uber. We don't really do that actively anymore, but I did Uber for a few months in my Model S, and then Scott, our housemate, he did Uber for quite a while, and he really enjoyed it. But I don't think we're going to do the robo-taxi anytime soon. Now, they do, Tesla did mention that you could do it with friends and family, and that might be something, we could send
I could potentially see doing that.
Once they have the functionality, no problem having friends and family use it, But random strangers, I don't think I would want to do that.
I don't trust random people. Matthew's asking, what is our profession? So I'm actually in biotech for a day job, but I also have a couple side hustles, businesses that I do, YouTube also being one of them. I like to stay busy. And David?
I'm a programmer.
He's a programmer. So, yep. Got Grapes, who is Scott. He is actually our roommate, and he is not online to try to get him downstairs.
He's upstairs, but he
Maybe he's taking a nap?
he might
I
be
don't know.
sleeping, or eating or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or driving his Tesla. I don't know.
Good question, actually. I'm not entirely sure. Cooper is asking, what should I install garage charger-wise? Depends what you need.
Yeah,
I guess.
Like what vehicle he has and how many miles a day he needs to drive, and it's like we started out with 1450 outlets, which
long ago,
and we had generation, I guess, was it generation 2 UMCs or generation 1 UMCs, which allowed you to charge at 40 amps. The newer generation 2 UMCs only charge at 32, but we can still get 30, 40 miles an hour on the Model 3 with a 1450 outlet. Now we did upgrade when we got our solar back in 2018, and we added 3 load balance wall connectors, which we use, and that is better because since we do have multiple cars, the wall connectors take care of the logic of which car gets charged, and it balances all out, so we don't have to worry, and we don't have to have 200 amps going to our garage. Now, if you only have one car and you have a short commute, you could probably get by with just a regular household 515 outlet. And my mom and her Tesla, she's got a Model 3, but she had a short commute, so she's gotten by for the past year or so just plugging it in and getting 3-4 miles an hour.
Yeah, so there's several things. You can certainly put in a wall connector, but you may not need it. So just things to think about too. Also, how expensive will it be to put in a wall connector, depending on where your electric panel is?
Yeah, it varies greatly.
It does. There's a lot of situations, but if you have any specific questions, feel free to email us, and we're happy to help you there, or tweet us or anything.
Yeah, you might be able to get, depending on where your circuit breaker box is, if it's close to your garage or wherever you want to put the charger, it might only be a couple $100 to add either a 1450 outlet or 1430, which is not quite as fast, or even a wall connector.
Yeah.
But in our case, our garage was in the exact opposite side of our house from where our electricity came and connected with the meter. And so our job was quite expensive because we had to run wiring probably over 100 feet, and then within the garage we had to split it out to the 3 different bays. But good thing is there is a tax credit on installation that covers both installation and materials, and you get 30% back on that. So if you do that, look for, I think it's Form 8911. If you're filing your taxes, and it was retroactive back to 2018. So if you've already had something installed 2018, 2019, 2020, or if you're going to install it sometime in the future, you can take that, say you pay $1,000, you can apply for the tax credit and get $300 back. And in our case, we originally spent over $3,000, but we got about $1,000 back thanks to that tax credit.
Yeah. Okay, so I see we're nearing an hour and 40 minutes, so we're going to try to hustle through some of these real quick. If you still have questions and we don't answer them, try putting them in the comments once this video goes live, but not live, and we will try answering them there. Vince asked about no side mirrors, if that will ever come to cars. Hopefully, but that's going to take a lot of governments,
A lot of car companies, even Tesla, have had prototypes that had just cameras on the side, but the government still requires those, at least in the United States.
Andrew says hi from New Zealand. It's tomorrow here. It's already Sunday.
It's already tomorrow. Wow.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining in. Let's see. Got Grape says, I work for Apple and I'm proud to drive a Tesla.
Yes, we were just talking about the 1450, and I saw Robert asked if you can use it on other cars. There are some other EV SE equipment that you can use a 1450 or even a 650 outlet, and Teslas can use a 650 outlet too. If you check out the shop for Tesla, there's all kinds of charging accessories you can get, and they have plugs for not every single outlet, but there's at least half a dozen or more. So no matter what you have in your garage, you can probably get an adapter for it.
Totally. Jason asked where we got the supercharger from in the background. So that was actually an old store display, and they were getting rid of them, and it was actually in a different state. Yeah, it's got
all the equipment. It's a real supercharger, just was not installed.
We actually took it apart in one of our videos online. Definitely check it out. It's actually pretty fun. But that actually was thrown out. Somebody saw it next to the dumpster in a different state, grabbed it, put it up on eBay, and I just spent way too much money on it. But now we have it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I actually built a shell for the garage too, before I could get this because Tesla wouldn't sell me one of these.
But definitely check out the video we did. If you search through our old videos,
Yeah.
we took it apart and you can see all where all the wiring connects.
Internals. It was actually pretty
and where the
interesting.
cable attaches and yeah, it's cool, pretty cool to see what's inside. They have changed them slightly with the version 3 now because they do have thinner cables that are liquid cooled, and there's some fans down in the base and some, the coolant reservoir, but they're still pretty much the same on the inside.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you, JD, for joining. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it right now. Again, thank you guys for joining in. It's been a fun one. Hopefully by next week we have a lot more information on why. If there's something like
Cross your fingers,
groundbreaking, like we have a date, maybe we'll do an impromptu live session. So make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications, so when it happens, you are made aware. Otherwise, we'll just see you next Friday. Huge thanks to our channel sponsor, though, Abstract Ocean. They have all kinds of really cool accessories for SX, Model 3, soon to be Model Y. So definitely check those out. Using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off your first purchase. Huge thanks to them. They help make all this possible. So definitely go show them some love. First link in description. But yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much. We hit like almost 450 viewers at once. If you are going to go, though, please hit that like button. It really helps out. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Enjoy your weekend, guys. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.